The True Project presents.
Hi, my name is Francesca. I use they, them pronouns. I live with 7 different conditions that make me neurodivergent and multiple chronic illnesses along with chronic pain. I have both misophonia and mesokinesthesia, which are 2 types of a sensory processing disorder that aren't well known or well talked about. And I'd highly recommend researching them and joining our push to get them into the DSM. Now that that rant's over, I'm here to talk about makeup. I am an aspiring makeup artist. It is what I want to do professionally. I've been doing it unprofessionally for a while, about 4 years, and just this last year I've been taking smaller jobs, like at my school, unpaid, and just working more with people and learning how to work with clients. So obviously I'm still learning, but I do have a bit of a history with makeup, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I think that makeup is a very, very powerful tool that can just enhance your emotions about yourself and your feelings of confidence and happiness and security in who you are, regardless of your race, your sexuality, your gender, your religion, your age, your physical ability, or your mental ability. Everybody can do makeup, and everybody deserves the chance to be able to experiment with that. I highly encourage everybody watching this to give it a go if you haven't already, or if you've given up, to try again, because nobody's good when they first start, I promise you that. Yeah, it's a learning process like everything else, so don't feel bad if you don't like the result of something, because you can take it off and then do it again. So because I cannot film a full makeup tutorial in like 10 minutes, I will give some pretty basic beginner tips for all of you interested in learning how to express yourself in a new and fun way. I would recommend watching Robert Welsh and Wayne Goss on YouTube if you want more tips about makeup. On my YouTube channel, I will have some videos about makeup up soon. They're not there yet, but they will be. That's Franzi Does Everything on YouTube. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to get into makeup is to learn your face shape, your eye shape, your undertones, and your skin type. Now that might sound like a lot, but I promise it's not too bad. When you look up face shape, you're going to see like 5 different shapes, and they're going to be super exaggerated, and you're going to be like, oh my god, I am not any of these things. Don't worry, you're not. Everybody's a combination of the face shapes that are usually listed. For example, my face is kind of a combination of a round face and a square face, and I have a pretty high forehead, so it's like 2 to 3 different face shapes in one. Find that, and then find what features of your face line up with face shapes. So for me, my forehead lines up with square face shapes a little bit more than round face shapes. So videos on how to contour a square high forehead work for me. Whereas a short round forehead wouldn't, even though the rest of my face is kind of round. So experiment with that, watch some YouTube videos. Don't get all your information from Instagram because there's so much misinformation. Most of the like biggest beauty gurus do their makeup so that it looks good on camera and not so that it looks good in real life. And I'm pretty sure you want it to look good in real life unless you're doing film or drag or stage makeup. So your undertones is the undertone of your skin. I have neutral undertones, so I have both pink and yellow, or warm and cool. The way you find this is just kind of looking at your skin, finding what works. You can take different colors of like a color corrector and mix them on your skin until you find what combination matches you the most and see what color is most heavy in that. Or you can look at the veins in your wrist. If they are green, you have warm undertones, which means yellow. If they are blue, you have cool undertones, which means pink. And if they're greenish blue, you have neutral undertones. There's a whole lot more I could talk about than that, but if you don't know your undertones, you will never find a foundation that matches you. The next thing is concealer. There is so much information about how to put your concealer on. It's like one of the worst things I see in the beauty community. I put a small dot on the inner corner, small dot outer corner, inner corner, outer corner, and I blend those together with a brush or with a sponge. And I don't use a lot of product. The more product you use, the more cakey it will be, and the more likely your under eyes are going to crease. Use setting powder very conservatively. Do not use very much. So for my whole face, I use about that much setting powder on a brush for my whole face with foundation. I mean, that's also partially because I have dry skin, but do not bake unless you are doing drag. I did forget to talk about skin type. I'll cover that really quickly. There are a lot of different skin types, and you're probably combination skin. I don't know anybody who is just dry or just oily or just sensitive, whatever. Like, you're probably combination skin. I have a very oily nose and a very oily middle of my forehead. The rest of my face is extremely dry. I also have eczema and extremely sensitive skin. That is my skin type. It took me forever to figure that out. It's probably going to take you a while to figure it out too. Be patient with yourself. That's the whole thing, is you gotta be patient with yourself. Another thing I see done, not necessarily wrong, because there is no wrong way to do makeup, but makeup does have a theory, and so there is a way to make it look better. But just, do what you want, experiment, have fun, make it your own. Another thing I see done wrong is bronzer and contour. So I won't go into contour too much because it's a very complex subject. But with bronzer, it does sculpt a little bit, so you can't just put it anywhere you want. You do have to be strategic with it. So if you're using something like an angled brush, you would go in one direction, up. I generally like to go one direction, down. Because if it's more concentrated up by your temples, and then less concentrated the further you get down, the better that will look. I'm not wearing much bronzer right now. This was a quick look. But be careful with how much bronzer you use. If you do use too much, take whatever brush you use to do your foundation, don't add any more product to it, and just lightly swirl over it. That should lighten it up for you. Highlight and blush should also be strategic. That is not something you can just throw on anywhere. I mean, unless that's the look that you're going for, which, I mean, in that case, do it. But find the high points of your face and accentuate those, and find the parts of your face that are a different shape that you might like, or you might want to add a shadow there, and put a shadow there, either through bronzer or contour. One last tip, two last tips, sorry. With eye makeup, if you're not going to use an eyeshadow base, that is fine, but your eyeshadow will not last long and it will probably melt right off your face. Eyelids are naturally oily. So do not use concealer as an eyeshadow base. It is made to moisturize, and it is oil-based, and what breaks down powders, so eyeshadow, is oils. So your concealer base will be breaking down your eyeshadow throughout the day. Something that is drying is usually best. So my NYX HD primer is wonderful. I don't know if it comes in other shades. It should if it doesn't. So I use about as much that's on the applicator for both eyes, and I rub it in with my fingers. I also use this on my nose to dry it up a little bit. So find, and that one's pretty cheap too, so find an eye primer that is more drying than it is moisturizing. Yeah. And the next thing is eyebrows. So eyebrows are very fun because you can do literally whatever you want with them, and it's just your creative freedom, but do not do not do this. Do not start in the inner corner and then travel outwards, because when you place your brush anywhere on your face, the highest concentration will be where it immediately touches. You will start in the middle of your brow and go outwards, and then maybe lightly tap there to fill in that space. Because then the deepest concentration is in the middle of your brow, which is where you want it to be. Quick thing about brushes: the closer to the bristles you hold it, the firmer and denser the application. The further away, the lighter and fluffier the application. Use that information as you will. Again, please go watch Robert Welsh and Wayne Goss on YouTube, because they are actual makeup artists who actually know what they're talking about. And go subscribe to my YouTube channel, because once there are makeup videos up there, you might want to see them. I apologize for this being so short, but I hope you found some helpful tips, and I hope this is inspiring for you to get into makeup. It's a great way for self-expression, it's a great way to stim, it's great. I highly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, Francesca, they, them, theirs, thank you.